easy to overcome. This word that is made of 4 letters is an Arabic word which is a synonym or a translation of the word modesty in English. And the translation of the word modesty in Arabic is haya. H-A-Y-A, haya. If you will put this simple word into practice, then every single problem that many people are going through at the moment will easily be solved. What do I mean by haya? Now look at the 4 letters. H-A-Y-A, haya. They say when you are growing up, you make your habits. But when you become old like me, habits makes you. I will take it again. When you are growing up, climbing the ladder of life, you make your habits. But when you are old, the habits defines you. That means it is not the big things that you do with yourself in your life that ultimately culminates and makes you. It is those little things you do every morning, every afternoon, and every evening and every night. When you add them up, they make you who you become in life. And that's why they say success is not a destination. Success is a process of habituation. So if you can be able to take care of your habits, everything else will become easy for you to do. If it was a habit from the time you were born for you to see people dressed on hijab, for your parents to put you into a practice of wearing hijab since you were 3, when you are 20, it becomes natural. What you do when you are young with difficulty becomes easy to do when you are old with a lot of simplicity. So modesty is not something that is planted. Modesty, it is something that is cultivated. Cultivated in the sense that you go to practice it, for you to acquire it. Without practicing it, there is no way you can acquire it. So take care of your habits, and your habits will take care of you. If you have a habit of speaking the truth always, from the time you were young, it becomes very difficult for you to lie when you become older. When you grew up with the habit of sharing, glaring, daring, aspiring, acquiring, and growing, when you were young, it becomes easy to do it when you become old. I want to warn you this afternoon. Be careful of what you do when you're growing up, because what you do when you're growing up becomes your makeup when you're now up. Be careful of what you do when you're growing up, because what you do when you're growing up becomes your makeup when you're up. That means H in the word haya says if we want to develop this very precious characteristics of being called a person of haya, a family of haya, a community of haya, a civilization of haya, we must take care of those things that we do. Our habits tells people who we truly are. My dear sisters, we are not known by what we think, because no one can open your skull and read your brain. We are not known by how we feel. No one can split your chest and read your heart. But we are always known through our actions. So be careful of what you do. But the actions don't become actions until they are superseded by something else. You can't control the actions when your thoughts are full of freedom. You can't control your feelings when your thoughts have gone wild. That means, therefore, the struggle needs to begin with the thinking, with your mindset, with your perceptions. And with the positive perception, you will always develop positive feelings. And with positive feelings, you will always have positive actions. So modesty is made up of habits. The little things you do every day solves all your problems that you might be facing at any time of your life. A, in the word haya. Haya is defined. That means you become in life the person you adore. That means your adoration. What do you admire? Do you admire someone who is open, honest, truthful, well-mannered, well-dressed? Or is your admiration, is your adoration focused on those that are walking half-naked, on those who are always lying, on those who are always camouflaging, on those who are always confused with their own identity? Now your adoration saves you a lot of pain that you might go through in your life. So H for habits, A for adoration. Dear sisters, for you to be able to become anybody you want to become in life, you begin with admiration. You become in life what you admire. Because when you admire, you aspire. When you aspire, you will acquire. And if you don't aspire, you expire. But it all begins by who is really important in your life. What image, what symbol, what description, what definition fascinates you of an individual? Katika maisha unakuwa yule ambaye unamtia moyoni, akilini na unayemuigiza kila wakati. Na ndiyo maana wanasema success comes through observation, then imitation, then repetition, and ultimately habituation becomes your habit. And I'm sure that is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam also said, we shall be resurrected with those people we admired when we were still living in our lives. That means you have to be careful then of who you admire. Because the person you admire will have, atakuwa na turufu ya kukupiku. The person you admire has a bigger strength of influencing you. So be careful who you admire. Haya, your habits, your adoration, and then why? Your yearnings. What I mean by yearnings is the things you expect to happen in your life. Yearning simply means yale mambo ambayo ungependelea uyaone yakifanyika katika maisha yako. Where do you think you are heading to in your life? Where do you think will be your destination? Because your destination determines your action, and your actions always determines your intention. And that's why they say I plus A is equal D. That means your intention plus your action will always take you to your destination. That means, what is it that you think if it is to happen in your life, you will celebrate and say, this is the life of my dream. This is how I wanted my life to be. Now I am a very happy person because all what I was expecting has really come true, dream come true. Now your yearnings, that thing that is in your mind, in visualization, unafikiria ikifanyika maisha yako yatakuwa ni mazuri. So if you're yearning, if your expectation is to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when He is pleased with you, if your expectation is Jannah, if your expectation is decency, if your expectation is life of integrity, then definitely your actions will be controlled. So the yearning, what are you yearning for in your life? What's your goal? Where are you heading to? When you close your eyes, what do you see ahead of you? Because my dear sisters, life and future is not waited for. Life and future is always prepared. Life and future is always calculated. Life and future is always designed by every individual. Now what you expect is very important in determining your level of modesty, your level of decency, your level of integrity, your level of haya is determined by your expectation. And that's why many young people today, the so-called millennial generation, millennial generations are people who are born between 1980 till present. Anyone who was born 1980 till present is in the bracket of millennial generation. These people always strive for 4 F's. They strive their expectations, what they are yearning for, what they want to happen in their lives are 4 F's. F number 1 is the F of freedom. Being free. Nothing controls you. You do what you love doing and you don't do what you are expected to do. Freedom. You want to enjoy the horizon and the space so that you can fly on your own without any kind of control. F number 2, this kind of generation, they love finance. They love money. It's money, cash, feels good, smells good, and makes you also look good even if you're ugly. You agree with me? When you have money, everyone will find something good on you, even if you're ugly. Unfortunately, you just need to have money. Even when you're too old like me, they will find something cute on you because you got money. Money, finances. F number 3 is the F of being famous at any cost. Being famous at any cost. And F number 4 is the F of having fun. Everything must be fun. And that's why we as teachers, now we are forced to make learning fun in school. Those who are teachers amongst us will agree with me. The current modern technological ways of teachings are all geared towards making learning a fun. Because without learning becoming a fun, students get bored. And they drop out from school. And they hate learning and books and everything else. So educationists are busy trying to translate every concept in mathematics to sound funny. Biology funny, physics funny, chemistry funny, Arabic funny, Tawhid funny, Fiqh funny. I don't know how long we shall continue doing that. But it's because this generation wants things to be out of fun. So if you are yearning, Y of haya is to acquire the 4 F's, then definitely there will be challenges in your life. Because these things might not come so easily. And forcing them might compromise your modesty. The last letter in the word haya, that is the next A, it is attraction. Modesty, haya, the 4-letter word, is about attraction. What do I mean by this? Who attracts you and who are you trying to attract? It's not about how you feel. It's not about how you look. It's not about what you say about you. It's not about how you feel about you. It's not about how you are about you. It's about how others see how good you look. It's sad, my dear sisters, that some of us get depressed simply because we've posted a picture we took at Pirates thinking it's the best picture of your life, but then no one liked it. And because of that lack of tick, the whole day gets spoiled. Now you took that picture without a hijab, with a hijab, and nobody liked it. Now what comes to your mind next is, maybe if I take it without hijab, I might get so many likes. So let me begin by removing the scarf and retaining the jalbab. Now you remove the scarf, you get 10 ticks. So if I got 10 ticks without the scarf, if I remove the complete hijab, maybe I'll get more ticks. You remove the complete hijab, you get 60%. Now you say, okay, maybe if I wear tighter dress, shorter dress, maybe, and before you realize, you have compromised everything. Because of the 4 F's, your attraction. Who are you trying to attract? What is the source of your attraction? And that is why, my dear sisters, they say the greatest enemy of modesty, the greatest enemy of modesty are 10 S. Eskumi. These are the greatest enemy of modesty in the modern times. The 10 S. What do I mean by 10 S? S number 1, poor self-image. Poor self-image. If you feel you are not beautiful enough, until other people give you an acclamation and say, yes, you look good. So the struggle is not to make yourself look good, but the struggle is to make yourself look the way other people want to see you. Now, if you feel like you are not who you are supposed to be, and you are busy struggling, making every effort artificially to look good, and you want as many approvals as possible, now that really brings you down to that level where you can easily compromise your deen, because you want to boost your self-esteem, you want to boost your self-confidence, because you don't have a positive self-image. And that's why, my dear sisters, it is of paramount importance that we keep telling our children from the time they are below 3, even from the time they're born, you look good, you look good, you look good, you're beautiful, you're handsome, you're great, you're gorgeous. So that they don't grow minors self-image. If you stand in front of a mirror every morning brushing your teeth, what kind of a person do you see? What kind of a person do you see? Do you see a person who looks good? Do you see a person who is positive? Do you see a person who is courageous? Do you see a person who is confident? Do you see a person who is great? Do you see a person who is righteous? Do you see a person who is accepted by everybody else? And if they don't, you feel okay? Because the way you see yourself determines how you feel about yourself. And the way you feel about yourself determines how you will act with other people. So S number 1, don't compromise this. Your self-image. Looking at a decent, well-dressed Muslim woman as a backward woman, and looking at a half-naked Western woman as the most civilized woman. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will also change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will also change. If you look at that modesty, that decency of a person who is well dressed as the best way of life and the best of civilization, you get to admire that person. You get to imitate that person. You get to behave, act, feel, talk, walk, and do what you do like that person. But if you change your perception and you look at that person as a backward person, and you look at the other person who is half naked as the most civilized person, you will also be tempted to live, to dress, to talk, to walk, to behave, and to do whatever you do like that half naked person. So my dear sisters, if there is anything, and I mean it, if there is anything you should never compromise in your life, is your self-image. Even if you are a cat, feel like you are a lion. Even if you are a pigeon, feel like you are an eagle. Even if you feel you are a sparrow, feel like you are an elephant. Even if by any chance you are backward, feel like you are already civilized. Never allow yourself to be less of self-esteem. Never allow yourself to be less of self-confidence, and never doubt your self-image. You are the way Allah created you, and the way Allah created you is the most beautiful way that you can ever be in your life. Now be proud of who you are. Minus that, you can easily compromise your modesty. At the end of the day, sometimes it's strange, it hurts. Some of us who teach at the university, every morning we get heartbroken. You know what we see? We see fat women wearing tight skirts and they look ugly. Sometimes you feel like calling them and telling them, please don't do that to yourself. Don't. And you see some other ones who are wearing mini skirts and their legs, oh my God, walking sticks. And you feel like, man, that's not the way to do it. Can I teach you some fashion a little bit? But because of that lack of self-image, because of that lack of self-esteem, because of that lack of self-confidence, now you're doing, my friend, you are black and you are wearing a red dress. Because you saw someone who is a celebrity wearing a dress like that, and therefore you never even took the precaution that this color cannot go with my skin, and you look ugly instead of looking beautiful. Self-image. Tell yourself now, as I talk to you, I am the best, I am the most beautiful woman Allah has ever created. Quietly, please tell yourself, I am the most beautiful woman Allah has ever created. Tell yourself that. Tell yourself that you are the most beautiful woman Allah has ever created, so that you can retain that positivity in you and you don't compromise because you want to look like somebody else. The second S that compromises modesty, it is the S of songs. Songs. 99.99999% of the songs we listen to are songs that are teaching us immodesty, immorality, the words, the beats, the instrument, everything. In every language, you listen to any song, you can't fail to get your heart trembling, get your body shaking, wondering why should somebody, for God's sake, use the lyrics that contradicts the moral values of humanity. So it's very important for us to understand that if we want to keep our modesty, we got to keep away songs. Because it is one of the avenues that Shaitan and the followers of Shaitan are busy using to make you and me and all of us here compromise our modesty. And sometimes these songs are played at home when everybody in the family is there. The dad is there, the mom is there, the sister is there, the brother is there, na kinyago champapure is busy singing. You know what I mean? And then you wonder, man, these words, how do they digest these words? How do they take in these words? How do they get comfortable with these words? How do they accept this? Now that really compromises modesty. It removes the haya completely. Removes the haya. The third S is the S of the screen. Now when I say screen, I mean television screen and I mean the telephone screen. And I'm sure you will all agree with me. Those days of ours, as my brother mentioned, we were only watching KBC, black and white, from 3 to 6 is done. But these days, according to statistics, there are over 1 million stupid, dirty channels all over satellite televisions. You have a choice. A choice. When you're tired with the fashion channel, you can go to style channel, you can go to this channel and that channel, and before the end of the day, my friend, the brain can't take it anymore. They say in life, you become what you hear. Be careful of what you hear. In life, you become what you see. Be careful of what you see. In life, you become what you think. Be careful of your thoughts. In life, you become what you feel. Be careful in terms of relationship. In life, you become what you do. Be careful of what you do. At the end of the day, we are guarded by this philosophy of our minds. What goes in our heads, what really boils up in our hearts, and what we do with our bodies, ultimately you add up and that becomes exactly you. Be careful of what you think. That's what they say. Because what you think interferes with how you feel. Be careful of the way you feel. Because the way you feel propels the way you act. Be careful of your actions. Because your actions makes your habits. Be careful of your habits because your habits, when they are added up, they make your character. Be careful of your character because it is your character that leads you to your destiny. So guard your eyes, the haya of the mind. Sieving what goes in your mind. Someone will ask you, how do I control the way I think? Easy. How do you deal with SMSs you don't like when they come into your phone? You delete them. Am I right? What do you do with the picture that comes on your WhatsApp? You delete it, man. Right? My sisters, you can also delete the thoughts you don't want to invest in your mind. You can't stop them from coming, but you can delete them the moment they land on your mind so that you don't concentrate on them. So S number 1, I say, is S of low self-esteem and negative self-image. S number 2 is the S of songs. And S number 3 is the S of the screen. And S number 4, social media. The kitchen of all evil. Right? The boiling pot of anything and everything called immorality. The perpetuator of indecency. The attractor of every kind of evil nature of humanity. Social media, and particularly the fitna book. You know the fitna book? Not the Facebook, the fitna book. A lot of fitna on that book. Now I want to urge the students who are here, please remove your face from the Facebook and put that face on the real book. Remove the face from the Facebook and put it on the real book. The real book will benefit you, but the Facebook will destroy you. So make sure you don't. And you know, unfortunately, now we have over 4 billion followers, 4 billion subscribers on Facebook. You can imagine the force that is there. And I'm sure 95% of the 4 billion are all people with no direction in life. Therefore, they cannot guide you, they cannot advise you, they cannot direct you, they cannot teach you, they cannot give you anything positive. But they are always busy thinking how they can get you out of your track, how they can mislead you, how they can get you out of control. So the social media, the WhatsApp, and whatever that is coming up on daily basis, new apps are being created with different kind of intentions and attraction. S number 5. S number 5. S number 5 is the S of shilling. The shilling. The shilling. That because of the shilling, every person is busy compromising their modesty, compromising their moral principle, compromising what is right, and doing whatever it takes to get, to earn, and to acquire what you want out of this world. If there is any characteristics that is really building up into destruction in our today's life, is lack of patience. You finish university today, you want to have a big house tomorrow. You finish university today, you want to drive a big car tomorrow. You finish university tomorrow, you want to have the most handsome man as your husband. You finish university tomorrow, you want to have the most beautiful girl as your wife. And it's like everybody's in a hurry, struggling, fighting to make sure life is easy. Let me give you an advice for free. If you want life to be easy for you, in return it becomes really hard on you. If you do what is easy with you, life becomes really hard with you. If you want to do what is easy today, what is hard, difficult, complicated, sophisticated, wait for you tomorrow. You can never see a rainbow without passing through the storm. You can never kiss the prince without kissing the frog first. It's impossible. The hard way, the only way. Hard work works. That means, therefore, this idea of struggling to make life easy by being ready to do anything possible because you want to make a shilling, then this really compromises what we have to do. This is S number 1. Can you remind me? Number 5. S number 6. Oh my God. I want to ask you a question. When you left your house this afternoon to come here, how many billboards did you see on the way? And how many of those billboards had women with hijab? Almost all of them have women who are very suggestive into a very poisonous 3-letter word called sex. Everything you see, every advertisement has a connotation of the 3-letter word. Every advertisement, may it be on the billboard, may it be on the television, may it be on your mobile phone, may it be on the whatever Safaricom truck going around the town, and the music they're dancing and everything else very suggestive. Everything is trying to stimulate you, everything is supposed to motivate you, everything is supposed to put you on the high gear of emotional, charging and kind of feeling like, ooh, it's the only thing you can do in life to feel happy. Believe me, it's the worst thing you can do to feel sad in many instances. So S number 6 is the S of the 3-letter word. The S of sex. It's real. Sometimes we organize some retreat for young boys and sometimes for young girls, and at night you're very careful, you want them to concentrate, you want them to focus. But of course there will be, in every market there is a madman. In every market there is a madman. You will always find one who managed to sneak in with a phone, and late in the night as you go around to check them in their dorm, you see some little lights coming under the blanket, and when you go and see what they're watching, oh my God, what is this? Oh my God, what are you guys watching? What is this? What is this? Now tell me, where do you get modesty from there? Where do you get modesty from there? It's really hard. S number 7. S number 7 is the S of sports. Some people claim that they can't wear hijab, proper hijab, because they are sportswomen. They want to do sports, and with sports you have to put in a tight fit so you can be able to run, you can be able to swim, you can be able to. They have tried to modify one thing or the other, but believe me, it doesn't really come to that standard of it being equated to hijab. So in the name of sports, football, volleyball, swimming, gymnasium, and many other things, and our sisters also want what men can do, women can do much better. They want always to outshine the other gender, and in the long run you compromise the hijab. Remind me, my sister, I said S number 1 is what? Self-image. S number 2? S number 3? S number 4? S number 5? S number 6? S number 7? Bad. Now S number 7 is stupidity. Number 8, right? Stupidity. You know the meaning of being stupid? The meaning of being stupid simply means you don't reason. You're not logical. You see, the brain of a human being is divided into 3. The first part is the part that always accepts pleasure. And this part in English, in psychology, is called id, ID. So the Muzungu got the word idiot from that concept. So someone who is an idiot, someone who is a stupid, is someone who does what they do without thinking. Because if you give time to anything and give it a thought, maybe 2-3 minutes, it is pushed to the second part of the brain. The second part of the brain is ego. This is where the debate takes place. You can do it, don't do it, it's good, it's bad, nothing's wrong with it. Now if you take time to debate with that concept, it goes to the last part of the brain. And the last part of the brain is super ego. When a thought goes to that part, you will never afford to do anything wrong. So because of stupidity, meaning that because of people doing whatever they do without giving it a thought, it compromises their moral standards. It compromises their modesty. It compromises the haya. It compromises that ability to discriminate what is right from what is wrong. And then S number 9, the S number 9 is the S of standards. Double standards is the S of double standard. That means you are always not sure. So you have double image. Have you ever seen people who dress into very tight outfits and then they cover it with a jalbab? If they are with people who are jalbab people, they retain the jalbab. But if you go to places where there are no jalbab people, they remove the jalbab. Have you seen such kind of people? They put on hijab just because they want to show people that they are decent. But in the actual sense, they're not really decent. Given an opportunity, they can even walk without anything on them. They can. So at the end of the day, the standards you keep for yourself can either make you a modest woman or can make you an immodest woman. And the last one, number 10, is socialization. That means peer influence. Peer influence. That means, my dear sisters, you become the people you keep closer to you. You and me today, we are who we are as a result of the 10 people we have decided to keep very close to us. You and me today, we are an average of the 10 people we know. Birds of the same feather flock together. Eagles will always fly with eagles, and pigeons will always fly with pigeons. You walk around with losers, you become a loser. You walk around with modesty people, you become modest. You walk around with sinners, you become a sinner. You walk around with righteous people, you become a righteous person. The person, and that's why they say, show me your friend and I will tell you the kind of a person you are. My dear sisters, why is this question so important to us? Not only as ladies, but even to us as men. Why is the issue of modesty so crucial, particularly in the 21st century? It is crucial, and I want you to write down the word importance. The importance of modesty. Why is it so important? Why is it so important? Number one, it is a commandment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And my brother recited the ayah of hijab. And Sheikh Yusuf, I'm sure, will elaborate on that ayah more and more to our satisfaction. Now, when something is commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you and me have no authority, no credibility, no ability to say why. What we need to do is sami'na wa ata'na. We've heard and we are going to obey. And that's what my brother said when he was introducing the session. That at the end of the day, you hear and you obey. Because words without action leads to destruction. The importance of education is to give you satisfaction, and at the end of the day, it makes up a completion in the way you do whatever you do in your life. So that is the first importance. This topic is so important because it is really one thing that we have no choice on. We can't debate on it because it is a commandment from Allah. But apart from that, al-haya min al-iman, isn't it? It's part of the faith. Minus haya, there is no faith. That is the implication. But let's look at the word importance to get more insights on why truly today you should even improve your level of modesty and try to become an ambassador of modesty so that we can be able to change those who did not get the opportunity to be with us here today. In the word importance. It is a source of inspiration. Modesty is a source of inspiration that leads us to feel like we are truly in our nature as Muslims. When you practice modesty, you get the feel of inspiration. Inspiration in the sense that you gather the courage to feel like you need to go a degree ahead. Why? Because modesty is divided into 3 levels. We have what we call individual modesty. That means the haya of your own self, that to an extent that you don't feel comfortable even taking bath without anything on you, because you have haya with your own self. And that is the Islamic level of haya. The Muslim level of haya. That means even you can't stand seeing your own aura. You have that individual level of modesty. The second level of modesty is the modesty of Iman. That means you don't want other people to see you in a situation, in an exposure that is not very complete. And the third level is the level of Muhsin. That means knowing that wherever I am, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees me, and therefore I have to be covered. I have to be protected. I have to be defended, so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not see me as a reckless individual. That's what I mean by inspiration. And believe me, life without inspirations always leads you to a distraction. But life with inspiration will always take you to a very positive destination. Importance M. Modesty is a gift of motivation. Motivation in the sense that you are able to feel like you are fulfilling your primary obligation as a Muslim woman or even as a Muslim man. And every progress in religious practices gives you more energy to do more and more. And that's why they say, if you want to remain motivated every day, always look at the progress that you are making in whatever you are doing. I want to warn you, my dear sisters, never ever confuse progress with movements. Progress is different from movements. You could be doing a lot of whatever you're doing, but at the end of the day, there are no results. And if there are no result, that is not progress, that is movement. So with modesty, it gives you the feel that I am making progress. For someone who never used to put on a hijab, when that one decides now at least to wear long dresses, that is progress. After wearing long dresses, now feels I need to cover the head, that is progress. After covering the head, says now I need to wear the jalbab, that is progress. After wearing the jalbab, now I want to put on niqab, that is progress. Now with that progress, it lifts you up from the lower level of modesty to the higher level of modesty. And you get motivated. If I was able to achieve this, if I was able to accomplish this, then definitely I can even do greater things than this. That's why now you can do the sunnah of qabliya and ba'diya, you can go for umrah, now you can wake up for tahajjud, because there is something you have achieved in your life in the name of being a modest person. M for motivation. Importance, P. When you observe modesty, it provides you with that feeling of realizing that you are really good. You're pure. If you buy 2 lollipops from a shop and you take them home because you want to give them to your children, and you decide one of them you will remove the wrapper and one of them will have the wrapper on, which one do you think your child will pick? The one with the wrapper. Because according to the child, the one without wrapper is already polluted. It's already, used. It's already bad. But the one with the wrapper, that is the fresh. That is the good one. Now it's the same thing between you and me. If I get into this hall with 2 plates, and one I cover, and one with biryani I leave it open, which one will you go for? The one that is covered, my sister. The one I've covered is skuma and ugali. You get my point? But because it was covered, everyone's curious went up. That means there must be something good in that one. Because this one we already know it is. I give you one secret. You want to be expensive in life? You want to be valuable in life? You want to be special in life? You want to become unique in life? You want to become excellent in life? You want to become great in life? You want to become rare in life? You want to increase your price in life? You want to have your cost going high in life? Please don't expose yourself. In psychology of influence, there is something they call the law of scarcity. The law of scarcity says the lesser the exposure of a commodity, the more expensive it becomes. And in the business world, they also have a law of supply and demand. The more available you are, the less valuable you become. That's modesty. That means with the feeling of being modest, you acquire a lot of peace of positivity. You feel positive about yourself. I am a counselor by training, and many of my clients are women. A number of them, their problems is simply because someone used them just for a night, someone saw them without their clothes, someone and then dumped them, so they feel bad. Why? You know what I mean? And that's what they say, when the why makes you cry, you will always fly, go so high. It doesn't matter the circumstances, even if you have to die. At the end of the day, you go above the sky because you know the reason why, and that you cannot deny. It's why, isn't it? It's why. Why? Why did I do this? Why? Why? My God! And then what? Wow, what happened? What happened? What happened? Love learns by laughing, fast to speak, then slice lies, then cares passing greet. Mwana amecheza ngoma, pepo amemgandama. It's done now. It's done. What do I want from you when I've seen everything you got? I mean, fungu penny. At the end of the day, it's you. So what am I trying to tell you? For you to feel worthy, for you to feel positive, for you to feel valuable, you should always restrict your aura. You should always restrict your body from being exposed to anyone else apart from your mahram. Very important. You remain very positive. You walk with confidence. You have high self-image. And you're not worried, and you're not scared, and you're not afraid of anyone. When I was in high school, our literature teacher told us, if you are that boy who every girl in the village has seen you without a trouser, then why are you wearing a trouser? What is the trouser for? Because every girl in the village has already seen you without a trouser. Why are you wearing it? What are you covering? Everybody has seen it at one point, at one time, in one way or the other. So it's really for you to remain positive. For a positive mental health. By the way, do you know that in Kenya, one disease that is growing on a very high rate is the disease called mental illness. The issues of mental health. Many people are sick not because they have malaria. Not many people are sick because they are coughing. They are sick because they are not happy with themselves. They are psychological problems. According to statistics, 79% of people who go to the hospitals every day are not sick physically, but they are sick mentally. Now, what are the causes of mental illness? Is regrets, guilt. And I want to warn you this morning, take this as an advice for me. Believe me, my sister. Strive, struggle, work hard to become an asset in life. Never allow yourself to become a liability. Make yourself an available one. In the interest of time. Oh, the importance of modesty. It makes you optimistic. You feel confident everywhere. You live with optimism. You're not afraid of anyone. Because you are protected both outside and inside. And therefore, because you are protected, you don't really fear. By the way, do you know in Kenya today, the rates of rapes have gone high? By the way, do you know today, in Muslim community, incest has increased? By the way, do you know that the kind of the molestation of women in the Muslim community is now going up and high? Do you know that in Muslim community now, sexual violence has become the order of the day? Do you now know that in Muslim marriages now rape has become a talk of the day? Now you need to ask yourself, what is causing all this? Modesty. When you are busy living yourself loose everywhere, and you're telling people, yes, I am available. Welcome, please. I am here for you. I am ready. You live in a very suggestive way. Importance are, it gives you good relationships. Good attracts good, and bad attracts bad. Evil attracts evil. When you are a modesty woman, who comes in your life will also be a modesty person. When you are a modesty woman, the husband you will get, in most cases, will also be a modest husband. When you're a modest mother, and that's why I tell people in my parenting workshop, if you want to have religious children, first be religious yourself. If you are a shaitan, don't expect to have children who are religious. They will also become shaitan like you. Are you getting my point? So if you want your home to be a religious home, be religious yourself. So the relationship, T, it controls your thinking. Modesty makes your thinking pure. And that's what they say. If you are alone in privacy, be careful of the thoughts that comes to your mind. If you are with somebody, be careful of the word that comes out of your mouth. And if you are with many people, be careful of the behaviors you show others. Because that describes whether you're modest or immodest. Modesty gives you higher levels of aspirations and good association. And then you become someone who has very high ambitions. Modesty. And it removes negativity from you. It makes you a very strong person, and you will never be negative. See, you will always be creative as a modest woman, and you will be able to come up with different ways of improving your life and improving the lives of other people. Modesty empowers you. It empowers you. It makes you great. As I sit down, I say this: if we will refuse to drink from the beauty of the modesty, we shall suffer in the desert with the evil of immorality. If we refuse to pick from the beauty of modesty, if we refuse to pick from the beauty of the modesty, we will suffer in the desert with the wrath of immorality. Wabillahi tawfiq. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Kwa sasa kwanza tunamshukuru sana Sheikh Dr. Mujahid, na wallahi mimi nimefaidika sana kwa kuwa Sheikh Abul Qasim ananiambia nitumie Kizungu, lakini najua kitu kimoja, Sheikh Yusuf hapa akija atasema Kiswahili. Kama Sheikh atasema Kizungu Kiarabu, Sheikh Yusuf atasema Kiarabu. Kwa hivyo wasijua sasa mambo hivyo. Ala ayi hal, Dr. Mujahid talked about what's modesty or the importance of modesty. And I personally, I have really benefited from the talk. I have really benefited from whatever he said. And I really thank Dr. Mujahid for whatever he has presented for us. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put it in his mizan of hasanats يوم القيامة يوم لا ينفع مال ولا بنون إلا من أتى الله بقلب سليم. Inshallah, from here we will pray Salat al-Asr, and we will pray inshallah Nazgar, or women will play on that side, left side from where you are sitting, and women will go inshallah and pray. And after Salah, we'll come back, and Sheikh Yusuf will have his talk, and it will be concerning about shurutu al-hijab, masharti za hijab. Because kama haingekuwa masharti katika hijabu, basi hijabu haingekuwa hijabu. Kwa hivyo pia ningependa wale ambao kwamba wako na maswali yao, naona kila mmoja ako na karatasi na kalamu, aandike maswali yao, atampa mtu. Baadaye inshallah akishamaliza Sheikh Yusuf, inshallah kutakuwa na wakati wa maswali, kisha ndipo maswali zitakuwa ni kujibiwa. Wabillahi tawfiq. Wassalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sheikh Yusuf darasa yake ikaanza 4:20 inaanza inshallah darasa ya Sheikh Yusuf inshallah. Assalamu alaykum.